Greetings. Welcome to tonight's show. AI is not here to replace creators. It's here to help creators move faster, create smarter, and show up more consistently. Tonight, we're talking about the apps, AI tools, and digital systems that can help creators save time, stay organized, and turn ideas into content, income, and impact. And on tonight, I have some guests that's going to help me tonight talk about this conversation. And so we want to go ahead and introduce them on tonight. All right. First up, we have my good friend, Mr. Charleton Lewis of Just Teach. How you doing, sir? Welcome to be here.
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me, man. I'm
Yes,
excited
sir.
to have a good conversation.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being here. And we also have Mr. Jeremy Reese. How you doing there, brother?
How's it going, sir? Appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. Doing good. All right. Again, we want to welcome everyone being here on tonight. I want to thank you all for joining, those that are joining, and even those that may come back later and watch this conversation. We just want to have a good conversation about some AI tools, apps, and different tools you can use to help creators. Like I started out saying in the intro, AI is not here to replace us, but it's here to help us if we use it effectively. So this conversation should be indeed welcomed. And of course, we want everybody else too, those watching, we want you all to join as well. And feel free to also, as we're going through this conversation, if you have questions, if you have comments, put those in the chat. If you do have a question, I want to say put a Q in front of it so that we'll know it's a question and so that we can kind of jump on that. But again, I want to say welcome to you all that are joining. I want to say welcome to my friends and my guests here. And so let's dive into this and talk about some of the things that these gentlemen use on tonight. All right, so on tonight. All right, so I guess I guess we can just start talking about some different AI tools, and we'll get y'all's input maybe on some of the AI tools that maybe you currently use, maybe that you want to use, something that's helping you to be more efficient, more effective as a creator. So, I mean, either one of y'all can start, but maybe just kind of chime in, tell us, or maybe you can tell us like how you went from not using AI to using AI, because AI just kind of blew up maybe within the past three years or so. So
For sure. Yeah.
it's definitely. I mean, everybody's using it. If you're not using, I don't know where you've been, but maybe y'all can jump on that. Charlton, you said for sure, so go ahead and chime in, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, AI, it definitely has blown up in the past couple of years, but it's been coming on pretty consistently longer than that. I first started off using AI on Canva
Mm,
because Canva has AI modes built into it that will help you design flyers. It will help you design thumbnails. It'll help you do scripting. I mean, there's all different types of things that Canva has around AI. In that regard, idea generation and different things like that, I've been using AI for probably about a good 3 or 4 years at this point, just as long as I've been using Canva. But in
facts.
more recent years, I probably pivoted more to using platforms like ChatGPT and Claude. I use Claude probably most heavily now because Claude has different modules to where you can do the standard platform, and then you have Claude Cowork and you have Claude Code that allow you to this just depending on how you want to build out build out your workflow. Um, but I've for me right now, I find Claude probably the most powerful. For those who've
Mm,
used it, there are things called skills. I don't know if you've familiar with that, but skills are kind of like prepackaged prompts, if you will. So if you have a routine workflow that you do on a regular basis, like let's say you have a series of emails that you read in order to um, in order to do research, or if you have certain books, online source material that you use on a regular basis, you can create a skill to where Claude will automatically go in, read that information, summarize it, bullet point it for you. If you have certain routine things you do around maybe building graphics and different things like that, you can create a skill. So like for me on my job, I get, because I work in treasury, I get inundated all day long with market updates from various brokerage firms and banks. I probably get anywhere from 40 to 50 emails a day, just people giving me market updates. And I mean, these market updates are pages long because they're talking about each indice, they're talking about NASDAQ, they're talking about Dow, they're talking about, different things that are going on politically, with the war. It's impossible for me to do my job and to sit up and just read emails all day. So I've created a skill to where Claude will go in and grab all of my emails for that day, and it'll create a Word document where it'll bullet point all the major themes or the consistencies that are being observed in the market. So at one point in time, I was having to download those emails into a separate file and have Claude read it. But then I was able to create, again, this workflow to where it goes right into my Outlook, extrapolates the emails, produces a Word document probably like in 5 minutes. So something that would easily take me, an hour or two is dwindled down to about less than 5 minutes. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of things. I mean, we can go on and on and on. AI.
I'm just blown away. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm behind because I'm
Yeah.
still reading emails manually.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we gotta definitely talk more about some Claude. All right, Jeremy, what about you? What are you using AI? How is it helping you today? Or just go ahead and chime in.
I'm gonna say, like with Charleton, man, he kind of telling me I need to tap in a little bit deeper. But
Yes.
like you said, Chat GBT, is one of the main ones I've been using. And like you said, Claude, like actually once I discovered Claude, I kind of put Chat GPT on the back burner because to me, Claude can do so much more than Chat GPT can. From coming up with ideas for hooks, like for me, so I do skits and comedy. Okay, what kind of hook can I come up with with this idea I have to help me like reel people in? It helps you walk through your ideas on that. Even to the point where I had an idea for a song. It could help you write music. I was just putting little stuff in there, and like I'm creating a whole song just by singing some melodies and coming up with a few words, just helping me, to create my song. So I definitely lean into Cloud a lot lately. I use Gemini because I'm an Android user. I know y'all iPhoneers out there, but I lean heavily on Gemini. And the thing I like with Gemini is, some people can see it as kind of a little scary or whatnot, but you can actually have full on conversations with Gemini, and it just, you talking to it like I'm talking to a person, and we collaborating and coming up with an idea for some of my content. So I use, Gemini as well. With me doing music too, and not just, content creating, I've got into Suno. That's AI too, it's helping me come up with, okay, you could have like an idea for how you want, the guitar to sound, or how you want the piano to sound in your music. You can kind of build out your songs even there. I'm against the whole full AI music creation, but I can use it as a tool to where I can go actually record my own music. So you got things like
Let
11
me ask you
Labs.
this then. Let me play devil's advocate real quick, and let's get the spice going early. Why are you against full on AI music?
I'm against it for AI music because it kind of takes out the artist part of it. Like I can just be a random anybody. I can't even sing it all. And I can put it into AI. It creates an AI voice and sings out the music. And yeah, you could kind of say you came up with some of the idea, but you taking away from like the artist portion of it. And you're completely replacing the human aspect as far as just leaning in heavily on AI. So I like to use my gift, which is singing,
Mm.
but just use that as a tool and not replace me completely, or fully replace a producer or fully replace everybody else. Like that's kind of a negative thing with AI, but we might talk about that later, where you know
Yeah,
humans are
let it know.
completely being replaced.
Mm.
But I do use them as tools.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so he's totally against the full onslaught of AI when it comes to music. And what's it called? Sono. What's it called? Jeremy.
Suno,
Suno. That's the one for producing music, right?
correct.
Okay. And let me backtrack. I wanna ask this because there's different AI platforms. You know, you got ChatGPT, you got Claude, and I think maybe like I would say within the past month or so, I remember it was like a lot of videos came out where people were saying I'm dumping ChatGPT and I'm going to Claude. So uh, can Claude also create images? Because I think that was one of the things that people were talking about that ChatGPT, I guess, had maybe an advantage over it. But can you use Claude for images too now, or I don't know.
Yeah, you can not only use Claude for images, but you can of course use Claude to generate prompts for the images, which I think is amazing. So if you have an idea on what you want to generate, and but you don't really know how to put it into words, you can just start having a conversation. I mean, you could do that with all AI platforms, but Claude can give you a prompt that you can turn around and use in Claude's graphic generator portion. You can do the same thing. You can take that same prompt though. What I like to do is I still use ChatGPT. I still use Canva AI, even though I lean most heavily into Claude. But when I have time, I kind of pit them against each other and I use the best of both worlds, you know. So if I'm trying to generate an image, I'll put it into Claude, I'll put it into ChatGPT, I'll put it into Canva, and I might end up using elements of all three and just kind of blend them together, you know. And I mean, of course, I know over the course of this conversation, we're probably going to talk about Nano Banana over the course, but I mean, that's probably the premier image generating platform right now, and it is. Uh, Developed by Google Gemini for my man Reese right there, who said we're Apple people. We still use their platform, but yeah, Nano Banana, and then like other platforms use Nano Banana's technology. So even if you don't go straight to that website, you can go to larger websites like Higgsfield and whatnot, and still use Nano Banana's programming to do image generation. So
Mm.
there's a lot of ways to approach it.
Man, I'm like I'm kind of blown away. It's like there's so much I know I haven't even tapped into with AI. Like I've used Claude, but I haven't used it enough. I know, and I'm just kind of coming to the surface of using ChatGPT. But I guess there's so many choices, and I haven't like we talked before. I haven't used Nano Banana enough, but I've heard that Nano Banana is probably the one to use for um graphics and images. And so, man, that is good stuff. Let's get to some of these comments before we go a little further and just say hello to some people as we jump in here. We want to say hello to Miss Florence. How are you? Good to have you here with us today. Thank you for being in the building. Let's see, she jumped in and talked about Claude. Claude co-work for the win. And I'm gonna say, Charlton, we gotta, man, you're gonna have to help us with this putting things together to read emails and all that kind of stuff. That's probably need to be a whole nother session, whole episode of that. All right, let's see who else we got. We got some other comments from Florence. I want to say hello to Walter. Appreciate you being here, Mr. Walter. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here. And of course, my wife is here. Hello. Let's see what she say. She say, "Hello, everyone. I'm still stuck using Claude with the emails." Yes. All right, and we got the other half of Just Teach here, Mr. Mika Lewis. Appreciate you being here. Let's see what she said. She said AI definitely helps you articulate the ideas in your head. I want to use Claude. Been stuck on Chat. Yes, that's me. I've been stuck on Chat GPT. I haven't used Claude enough, but I know Claude is pretty powerful as well. As well. Let's see. Well, Latasha said, she said, I heard a lady say that she could write and sing an entire song and not even use her voice. Yeah, I think is that gonna be a problem for us down the road? We ain't gonna have real singers. We're gonna have AI. I mean, they're already doing it, right? They're already doing it. But yeah, so that's
And
what.
I want to kind of go on that because they have Suno now. Okay, this
Yeah.
is absolutely crazy, and this is kind of going back to what I said. Like, it's a tool, but I don't want it to replace humans because you see news articles around Amazon going to set to lay off this many people because of AI, and Walmart is going to be joining suit. Like all these companies is following suit because of AI. But I did see now where with Sono, you don't have to sing, but you can sing into it, and now it can clone your voice and pretty much make you sing. So before you would, kind of articulate your idea of the song and it would create their own AI voice. But now it can take your voice and you don't even have to know how to sing and put it in pitch and in tune. And it actually sounds like you and actually sounds like you have the gift to sing, which is
Mm,
crazy.
mm, is that a problem? Is that gonna be a problem?
That is definitely a problem
I
because you,
can't I can't sing, so I'm just I'm just gonna upload my the what I wanted to sing and say, and it's gonna put some guitar, it's gonna put some keys, it's gonna put some drums, and I got a whole song that I
and I
can.
say that because so you could kind of say like, okay, well, people who can sing, they can sing the whole song and they don't have to go to the studio. I can understand that portion, but it's oversaturating the music industry because everybody's doing it. And so you have so much music going out there now where like your gift doesn't even really matter. Like as far as singing goes, it's going to take care of the whole thing for you.
Mm.
That's
Tamika,
Can I
that's
chime
just
in
my
right there?
honest thoughts.
yeah. Tamika Lewis said that's definitely cheating. LOL. I'm just saying, Charlton. I know you said no, but she said that's cheating. But yeah,
It's not
go
cheating.
ahead, chime in, sir.
It's not cheating. So here's the thing. If I can come from the other side of the continuum, what's interesting about AI integration and really just technology integration as a whole is you're always going to find people on all range of the spectrum. You're going to have early adapters, you're going to have kind of like middle of ground people, and then you're going to have late adapters. You have people that are very resistant because they're just resistant to technology in general. But statistically, the people that are most resistant to technology and AI are people that aren't using it. So they hold sentiments of things that they really don't have a clear understanding of it. Anybody who's used AI for a respective amount of time, at the end of the day, even today with all of its advancement, it's not even close to replacing human beings. AI still hallucinates so much, so when you use it to do research, you still have to fact check everything that AI gives you. Um, the AI is inconsistent. So even though I told you that you can use Claude to build a skill, it's inconsistent in its output of the skill. Sometimes I might tell it to structure the output to say, hey, give me an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. And sometimes it'll just give me an introduction and a body and forget the conclusion. So, and I'm not saying that to downplay AI, but I'm saying that there's still a lot more work that has to be done with AI. But it can, if used properly, it can enhance your workflow. And I think that that's what people need to lean into and observe. To kind of comment on Jeremy's point about AI replacing people. AI will never replace people. As far as music goes, the benefit of AI like Suno and generating music is for people like me who cannot sing, who cannot produce. But I need, even right now, I need intro music for my platform. And funny enough, Jeremy, I asked a musician that both of us know very well to produce music for me 4 years ago, and they blew me off. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So it's just like I can now I don't need to go
You don't
back to
need
that
them.
musician.
You don't
I
need them.
don't I can just go get the music and I can create it myself. Now, am I going to turn into a rock star? No. But it gives me access to something that I didn't have access to previously, which is a huge advantage. You know, and I think that that's what people need to realize with AI. If I can offer this out, I don't know if people realize one of the things that was going on recently with companies is that they were making announcements that they were doing mass layoffs because of AI integration. You had Block, back in February that laid off like 40% of its workforce, and then you had Amazon and all these companies that were laying off huge percentages, huge chunks of their employment workforce because and they were labeling it as AI integration. And what was happening, it was crazy. Their stock prices were raising. Now, normally it's a negative stigma for a company to lay off people, but when you put a sticker on it and say AI integration, it makes consumers think that that company is savvy, and it actually becomes something positive that should actually be negative. Well, here's the interesting response. What people don't understand is China actually just a few weeks ago passed a law banning companies from laying off employees due to AI. There was actually a guy that got laid off. It was an engineer, and he filed a lawsuit against his company, and he won the lawsuit. So if you're thinking that companies are just going to kind of be able to run rampant and just lay people off willy, it's not like that. There's so many companies that try to lay off people, and they end up having to hire them right back. So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna get off my soapbox.
That's a good soapbox. It's a good soapbox you on. I'm enjoying it.
Just take the time, learn the platforms, learn how to use it, learn how it'll save you time, save you money, give you access to things that were normally denied you. And look, it's a bright future, man. I promise you. Embrace it.
I'm gonna say this in response to that. So I can understand that part, right? Somebody who needs to, they want to make an intro or something like that. I know exactly what you're talking about because I have musicians I've asked for stuff to blow me off, and that could kind of create a hurdle or kind of stall you with what you're trying to do. But I do also know people who they're actually just releasing music like back to back to back to back and with no human interaction but themselves. And even to the point where AI is becoming number one on the music charts and certain, music streaming platforms, which is crazy. Like they don't, go into live to sing anywhere or nothing like that, but they've released your music and it's hitting the top of the charts, which even now the radio companies are creating resistance to it. You can't, they're already saying don't submit any AI music. We want human interaction. So there's a lot of debate and friction on that, but for somebody who to have, honed in on their skill, some people actually studied and went to school. They learn how to play and all that. And you have somebody who can just come up and learn. They have classes now. You can learn the prompts to put in Suno and all that. And you can release the music. I just feel like for artists, that's kind of hurting us a little bit.
Yeah, this is definitely a deep discussion, and I think like Charlton said, and that's what I said in the intro. AI is not here to replace people, creators, or whatever, whichever one, but it's here to help us to be more efficient. But I think the key is, and I think it like Charlton said, I think we got to learn these platforms. If we learn them, we can use them to our advantage. So I think that's key. So I want to say right here, hey, as you come in and as you are jumping on, make sure you like this video. Also, subscribe to the channel. Also, put a comment in the chat to let us know you're here, as well as we dive into these discussions. So I just want to say that. And we did have some comments here as y'all were getting on your soapboxes. Some were agreeing. Florence says humans are more needed than ever. I agree with that. That nobody can replace human. I saw videos where I want to say it was either Japan or China where they had people on stage dancing and they had robots dancing on there doing all the moves that the people are doing. And I was saying to myself, that's nice. That's cute, I guess, but it still can't replace a human. I mean, you can get a robot to do that, but humans still do that better, right? So, but that just tells you what robots are capable of. But I think, like Florence says, humans are more needed than ever. These tools don't run by themselves. Yes. Let's see what Walter says. Walter says, I would agree with that statement. I see the more in the age demographic of 55 to 65. So we got a demographic gap.
Mm.
Let's see what else. Florence says. She says there have to bring those people back. Yeah, I think Charlton, you said that they got to bring the people back that they fire. And let's see. Boy, this conversation is getting pretty deep. It's got people talking. It says every new tech from the printing press to this has caused a similar disruption. That is so true.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, we right here. And Tamika is laughing. I'm not sure what she was laughing at, but something struck a nerve and made her laugh. But no, that is so true. So I think as we backtrack with this one, we need to learn the platforms. We got so many: Claude, AI, ChatGPT. I haven't used Gemini enough. Jeremy, I know you using it, I guess, to create graphics. I haven't used that enough, but that's Google. Which one is Gemini? Who's that one?
That's Google, and like he said, banana. I can't think of the name of it. Something that's
Oh,
integrated
Nano
into it.
Banana. Yeah, Nano Banana. See, I
Um,
haven't used that one. Charlton, have you used Nano Banana quite a bit? Have you used that?
I haven't used it quite a bit. I've used it like once.
Okay.
I'm not a big graphics guy, but I've seen it used, and
Yeah.
it's amazing. I've
Oh
seen
yeah.
some people who've created full on like videos using the graphics.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's clean.
Now we'll lean into his Charlton's comment that definitely that because some part of that is VO integrated into it, and they do need a lot of work. Because what I was going to do with it is just a spoiler alert, but
Come on. What you gonna
I
do
was
with it?
going to basically take one of my songs and kind of create a promo video with it using um Gemini, but unfortunately it keeps letting me down. With whatever prompt I've came up with, I've used different Claude and ChatGPT. It cannot get it right for some reason.
What is it giving you?
It will like kind of air out. So most of the video has been created, but there's a certain part in it. Every time I try and I do different ways, it's just like it's not doing it. Now I do know there are other platforms where I can get it done, but I was trying to get Gemini to try.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see that, and that's what I'm saying. Like, as advanced as AI is, and it is advanced. Don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong. I mean, every week they're doing updates, and you have more functionality, but there's still so much that has to be done, and you have to think about like it's going to take human interaction with these platforms in order for these platforms to understand how to produce whatever output we're needing. And anybody who's used AI knows that like if you like on your chat GPT or Gemini, you continue to use a consistent thread, or you teach the AI your personality and what type of outputs you're looking for. Over time it becomes consistent, in producing a certain level of quality. So it's going to take some time, but it is
Mm-hmm.
it is still fun and very beneficial where it is.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of them, yeah, you do got to go back and, like Charles says, you got to proofread it. You got to check for errors and all those type of things because it's AI. So, and that goes back to what we're saying that humans are still going to be needed because somebody's got to go back and check these things. I mean, even look at they got driverless cars, right? So I don't trust that at all. And of course, occasionally you'll hear about wrecks where it ran a red light or it had a wreck. So, but yeah,
Just
humans
saw a
are
video yesterday about that.
yeah. So
Waymo ran through an intersection, ran through a red light.
same video.
You
I
know,
saw that video. I saw that video. I
yeah.
need to backtrack about the songs. I think Charlton, you said somebody wouldn't uh, do the promo for you. Do we need to call names on that? Do we need to find out?
we don't need we don't need to
we
call
don't need, we
names,
don't need to
but
call names.
what I what I will say is that when it comes to content creation, for anybody out there who creates content or you're aspiring to create content, you have to wear many different hats. You got to do the research, you got to come up with the thumbnail, you got to come up with the title, you got to come up with the topic, you got to research what you're going to say or do. You have to write scripts, you have to learn how to edit, do pre and post production. Like there's so much that goes
There's a
into it,
lot.
and I think people need to understand like that is the benefit that AI is going to give you. It's going to give you, first of all, the ability to do things that you normally don't have the ability to do. If you're not someone who knows how to do graphic design, all of a sudden AI can spit out the best looking thumbnails.
Yeah.
Or maybe you know how to do AI and maybe you know how to do graphic design and it takes time. Maybe you just want to save yourself the hours that it takes, so that's one of the benefits. I had a guy doing my thumbnails, man. That dude was charging me $25 a pop, so it's just like, what are you going to do? Are you going to pay, just for a platform, pay an annual fee for a platform? Or are you going to keep on charging somebody $25 a pop, So it's like, there's way it can save you money. It can give you the ability to do things that you don't normally have the ability to do, and it'll save you time. So I think that's what people need to understand. The benefit of this is don't be scared of it.
True. That's facts. That's true. True. All right. Let me get to some comments here. Let's see. Tamika said when she was laughing, she said she was laughing about the dancing robots. Yes. All right. Michael Flemings, hey, appreciate you being here, sir. Thank you for joining us tonight. All right. Mr. Walter Strong says he's using Nano Banana. Gemini more for graphics. Okay. He's using it more for graphics. He uses ChatGPT. He uses ChatGPT more for video scripting and to run of shows, that's very beneficial. Which kind of gives us to the next topic. Charleton was kind of touching on this is saving time with AI. And Charleton, you kind of hit on this, and I think a lot of people that may be jumping into content creation, they don't understand what all it takes. When you say, I want to do a video, there's a lot that goes into a video. And so what are some ways people can use AI to save some time? Because there's so much, like you said, you got the thumbnail, you got a script, you can't just jump out there and you got to have a script, intro, closing, you got to have keywords in your videos. All of these things are needed for the video because you want the video to be successful. You want it to look nice, like the thumbnail. You want that to look nice, and $20 a pop, man, that's quite a bit, Charleton. But what
25?
25? Okay, 25. That's quite a bit. What are some ways people can use AI to, to be more efficient? Like how can they do it?
Well, so I think what's inherent to everything that we're saying is that you can pull the most out of AI when you have an adjunct understanding of what it is that you're trying to produce. Like Jeremy can get a lot more of an AI song generator than I can because he knows how to produce music. If you're a type of person that how to write software, even though Claude has the ability to write code through Claude Code, somebody who's a software engineer can probably get better quality software than I can. So having a working knowledge of it versus somebody who's just coming in completely green, you're going to get a better product. Because what I'm going to say is that the way that AI can best save you time is having a workflow. I already had a process for producing content that did not involve workflow, that didn't involve AI. So my workflow, again, like we said, I had to come up with a topic. I had to come up with a title. I had to come up with a concept for the thumbnail. I had to come up with a hook.
Yeah.
Then you have research, different information that you want to present. Then you got to script certain parts of your presentation. And then post-production, we all know that reels are huge right now. Shorts, and we may talk about this a little bit later, how platforms like YouTube have prioritized shorts. So when you go on a YouTube now on the home screen, where you used to have a mix of long and short, content being populated to you, honestly, like the first 6 or 7, layers that you see when you go on YouTube now are all shorts because they're prioritizing shorts. So when you talk about AI being able to save you time, it can take your long format content and it can chop it up into smaller content. I use Opus Clips for that. I record my videos on StreamYard. StreamYard has a feature now where it can chop your videos into shorts. So you can repurpose long format content through AI to create shorts. And you might still have to do some editing and different things like that. But again, it's saving you a lot of time by not having to cut it up yourself. And it's also saving you money because, again, I had a guy that was doing video editing for me. Again, per reel, this guy's charging me. So using AI can definitely save you time and money in that. So come up with a workflow. And if you're using something like Claude, if there's somewhere where you can write a skill and just have a series of actions in your workflow in that skill, then you can tell Claude, hey, run this skill, and then just walk away. And then 10, 15 minutes later, something that took you 20 hours to do took 15 minutes, because it can do it all for you.
Mm-hmm. So true. So true. Mr. Reese, what say you? Saving time.
I'm gonna kind of echo some of what he said. Like, when I want to come up with a certain hook and I have an idea, you have your AI tools available for you to help you with that. I haven't done my podcasting like I should have. I'm gonna get back to that. But that helps out with pinpointing the script and how I want the video to go as far as that. So it definitely saves time. It helps with thumbnails. I've used some of the AI tools we talked about to actually create thumbnails. So instead of you, like he's saying, paying somebody and then not only paying them, you have to wait for them to deliver it to you. What if they're slow on getting it to you? So you can use AI tools that way to get your content out faster. What else? I use, this may not necessarily be for content creation, but like if you have a business, and within that business you create content, you have AI like Copilot, where you might need to respond to emails. Okay, I want to respond to this email and I want to have a certain tone with it. AI can save you time in the email. You can just give your idea and Copilot will spit that out for you on how you can respond to that email in the right way. So definitely different AI tools that could save you a lot of time. And like he said, especially with chopping up your long form into shorter clips.
Yes, totally agree. That's probably one of the best things you can do is use AI. Like Charleton says, the long form content can be used. You can use something like Opus Clip. They got a lot of different platforms out there that you can use that can chop up your long forms into shorts. Like he says, YouTube is pushing more shorts, so you want to have that combination, of course, because YouTube is prioritizing that, and so that's something that you probably want to do. Like he stated, Opus Clips. They got other platforms out there that do it. I think Opus Clip is probably one of the best that does it because its AI is so good. Or I would say it finds the content or it creates the reel in a very good way, and so that's one of the ways. But I think too what he stated. Okay, I think too what he stated is my producer just came in and told me my voice is low. Appreciate you. But no, I think what he stated as far as, which is very key, and I think this is something that I think I did overlooking starting out, where you have to come up with a title. Like doing these things beforehand is so key. Coming up with the title, coming up with the script that you want to talk about, because that's going to help the flow of your video, So you want to have those things and work on those things behind the scenes, I guess you could say. And I know for myself, like if you're not using Opus Clip, like if you got to do post edits, if you got to have titles, or if you're going to do what's it called? My brain, it'll come back to me. But if you got to use some different graphics in your video, you want to go ahead and get those things prepared for your video before you do your post edit. So, but all of that definitely can help you be more efficient as a creator. And like we're talking, I mean, you want to use AI to your advantage because it's here. Because Charleton stated he was paying $25 a pop to have somebody just do thumbnails. And AI, I mean, you can just write a prompt and it'll create it. I mean, this thumbnail that I created one in Canva and I didn't like it, and then I put it in Chat GPT and it created an even better thumbnail. So the thumbnail you're looking at for this video, that was Chat GPT. So use these things too. Yeah, yeah. I was like, oh man, I'm really impressed with that. So, so use it to your advantage to help you to create better content. All right. All right. Walter says your volume is much better now. See, that's what I appreciate that. I got a great producer that came and helped me. Appreciate you, Walter. All right. I want to say good evening to Miss Laura. Laura CZ Fitness. Hey, thank you for being here, Laura. Thank you for joining in the conversation. All right. So let's see what we got. Okay. So we talked about saving time, workflows, content planning. I guess we kind of talked about that, right? Content planning, workflows. Charlton, you are producing. For those that don't know, Charlton, of course, he has the channel Just Teach Ministries. If you don't know him, of course, and I'm going to share their information as we close this. But he's with Just Teach Ministries. But he produces Sunday school material weekly. I mean, how many videos are you putting out a week? Like 3, Charlton? How many videos are you putting?
Yeah, between me and my wife, yeah.
Okay.
My wife does, she helps out big time.
But they teach various Sunday school lessons from I want to say the International Sunday School, and what is the other one?
Union Gospel Press.
Union Gospel Press. But I'm pretty sure he has a workflow of how they do their videos, how they're producing it. I'm sure he's working more efficient now. So workflows. How you producing these videos? Because you got creating the title, creating the thumbnail, you got post edits. I'm sure it's a lot easier today than when you first started out.
Sure. Yeah. One thing I'll put out there is that it really all starts with a good concept. And if you are new to content creation and if you don't know exactly what you want to put out there, I would encourage you to use vidIQ. That's another platform that has AI elements to it, but it also does it's hooked up into YouTube and different content creation platforms. And it'll let you know what content and what trends have been popular over any given period of time, over the past year, over the past couple of weeks or whatever. Because here's the thing, we're going to talk about workflow. You can have the most productive workflow in the world, but if you're not producing content that people are actually looking for, unfortunately, it won't get traction. So I would say the first thing in your workflow is to have a concept that that is popular enough for people to come find it. And don't be scared to pivot. If you started putting out one type of content and you find that something else that you do just by happenstance tends to be a little bit more popular, pivot. And go with what works. And that looks different for everybody. Every niche has different traction, if you will. But have a concept, and then once you have a concept, the reason why I started with that is because your concept will dictate how frequently you put out content. Some niches you can put out a video once a month and you will do great because that one type of content will get hundreds of thousands and millions of views. Some people it's once a week. Some people it's multiple times a week. Some people are what you call influencers. They're not just content creators, they're influencers. So what they do is they go live multiple times a week, and then they take their lives and they chop them down into smaller into smaller videos, whether they're 5 or 10 minutes long. They'll clip it down. So you really do need to have an idea on what type of content you want to create, so that will dictate the pace of your workflow. So for me, like Brian said, we're doing Sunday school lessons, so it's baked in that it's once a week, because it's for Sunday, right? And from there, my topic is pretty much already set in stone. Now, for me, because of the type of content that I create, I don't necessarily need to create a different thumbnail every single week. For me, I'm just kind of changing the title and the scripture, and I'm using the same thumbnail over and over again, and that works fine. For other people, you may want to create that high def, AI generated thumbnail, because thumbnails do such a great job attracting people to your content. And I'll throw this out there. I know a guy out there. It's called Clear Value Tax. This guy out of Chicago. He's a CPA. He has over 2 million followers. This guy has no thumbnails. He's been producing content for like since pre-COVID. You know, so again, your niche will determine your workflow. You may not need a thumbnail depending on what type of content you produce and what type of, you know, how your audience gravitates for you. That guy, he actually posts daily. He posts a 10-minute video every day where he gives a market update. No thumbnail, no microphone, no lighting, nothing. He just stands in front of a video and almost halfway reads from a script and gives news updates and has millions of followers, hundreds of thousands of views. So again, you have to have a good concept. You know what I'm saying? What's popular right now? Well, you know, reaction videos are popular. Politics are popular. You know, talking about relationships is popular. You know, I know a lot of us in this community probably know that platform, Hardly Initiated, out of Atlanta. Those guys blew up, you know, out of nowhere, talking about relationships. You know, what was that? There's another one called Tonight's Conversation or something like that. I mean, relationships, huge. You know, have a concept. Then from there, it'll determine how frequently you upload, whether or not you need thumbnails, and then it'll also determine like the length of your videos. Now, for me, again, I have longer videos because I'm teaching Sunday school. I write scripts. That's probably my most time-consuming prep process, is me figuring out what I'm going to say. Because the last thing you want to do, I think, and I'm gonna throw this tip out there to somebody who's creating content. Pick up the pace of your conversation. Talk faster. People listen like multiple times faster than you actually speak. You might think that you're talking too fast and people can't understand you. Yes, they can. You know, you talk to a lot of young people. You know, if they are listening to a longer video, they'll actually listen to a video on 2 times speed, because if it's 40 minutes, they want to cut it in half and listen to it. So, and the reason why I bring that up is that if you have a script, it'll increase the pace in which you're able to speak over the course of your video, and it'll come out clean. Listen, there is no high level production of any piece of media that you are watching on any YouTube, anywhere, that's not scripted. It's all scripted. So
everything's a script. We're all scripted right now. We're scripted.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, take the time, write a script. That's a part of my workflow. And then, of course, you know, my post-production, you know, the whole video editing. Once I create the long form content, I upload it to Opus Clips or something like that. That's if I feel like doing shorts and just chop it down into shorter shorts. So, and shorter videos. And then I'm uploading those in between the longer form content.
Yep. Concept and the script.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Yes. Jeremy. Workflow.
So I'm gonna give you
how is the Jeremy and Deviant show? How are y'all able to produce? Because every time I jump on social media, it's like a Jeremy and Deviant Reese show video pops up, and it's like, okay, how y'all producing all this stuff? This is crazy. Man. How y'all do that? Because I know that takes a lot of editing. You got to do the camera scenes and different. So I mean, y'all got it down to a science.
Yeah, so I'm gonna echo Charleton for the long form when we do it. We don't do it much, but I'm gonna pretty much echo what he says. So, but for us, of course, we also make short form content, and like you said, it has to start with a concept and a niche. And there's different ways you can figure out, you know, what you want to do with that. You have Google Trends. You can kind of look at that. Sometimes it'll tell you, with different niches you want to do. Ours sometimes may be in there, but it may be more for like news or sports, what's trending in those areas. But for those people who do make that, you can get looking at Google Trends. You can also look at Facebook. Facebook has tools within it where it will tell you what's trending on Facebook. So you can go there and kind of get ideas for, okay, what do I want to create now? It'll kind of give you an idea where you go. Same as with Instagram. All of these different platforms will kind of give you TikTok as well. We didn't really talk about TikTok, but all of those different platforms will kind of give you some ideas for topics or things you can do. And so from there, you just want to gather all your ideas. So first we had got in the habit where we would gather ideas. just randomly during the day, because we do marriage content. Everyday life is an idea. We could just be talking about saying, you know what? That's an idea right there. Going through life, you can get ideas, and from there, as you get those ideas, you write them down, and kind of build you a list. And we kind of go through that, or we may see trending videos, and we may say, that applies to us too, but we can put our spin on it. And so we just kind of bag all these ideas, and then from there, we have to actually film what we're going to do. So we may take an hour or two just kind of shooting back to back different skits, so that we can kind of eliminate having to do it every day. Just kind of stack all of those skits into one time frame. That way, the only part you have to do out of that is just the editing. Go ahead and knock out the filming in bulk, and then once you do the editing and everything like that, you have different planning apps like Metrical. Metrical is really good if you never heard of that. So Metrical is like a planner where you can upload your videos to there months out in advance. So I have videos that's going to be posted like next month, July, like it's already scheduled. So you can kind of get into the flow of getting your content scheduled if you can get organized. And not only that, with what helps get out more content, reposting. People, there's lots of people who haven't seen you post it the first time. So that's how Metrical helps too. When you upload something, you can tell Metrical, I want to duplicate this post 60 days out, 90 days out to repost it, and it's automatic. So that when I get to that day, I don't have to be thinking about, I don't have anything to post. It's already scheduled. Instagram has recently come out. It even said that reposting is fine. As long as you wait at least 30 days, repost that content. And somebody might see it this next time that didn't see it the first time. And I've actually had videos where first time I posted it, kind of didn't do too well. Next time it got 1 million views. So you just never know. So I would tell people just lean in heavily to repost it.
So wait, you said, is it Instagram or Facebook that you said you can repost? You have to wait 30 days. Is that what you said?
You can repost on any of the platforms except for YouTube. YouTube is kind of a little different. You can't just repost the same video as a short. You have to change it in some way, form, come up with a different hook. But all the other platforms like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, you can repost the same video. You may want to change up your caption or your description a little bit, but they've already okayed the reposting part of it.
Man, those are some good points.
That is a really good point.
I never heard of Metrical. Never heard of that.
Yeah, so I would look it up. Metrical is like a planner. Like you can link your platforms into it. It'll tell you when your followers are most active during the day to kind of give you a best time to post.
Wow.
So it'll tell you, most of your people who follow you or engage with your content is active at this time. So this might be a good window for you to post for people to see it. Versus I noticed like a lot of your people are not on at this time. So this might not be a good time for you to post. So that kind of helps with how many people can see your content or the reach that you might get, depending on when all your followers are active.
Wow, that is those some good gems you dropped there, sir. I like that. That is some good information. I want to backtrack to kind of what both of you said.
Oh, don't miss out on YouTube Studio. Okay. They have stuff in there that you can look at. It'll tell you when people are more active on YouTube as well. It'll also tell you, based on people who follow you, what topics have they been looking at. And then you can even go into that and say, okay, a lot of people have been looking at this, and it can give you ideas on what you can post to kind of reach and connect with your audience too. So
yeah, no, that's some good feedback. Yeah, YouTube Studio, they add features to it all the time, and it's great too. But I wanted to backtrack with some of the things you said, and even Charleton said. Charleton mentioned that posting according to your niche. Like he mentioned the guy in finance who he doesn't even have thumbnails. He's just posting consistently. Every day, 10 minutes. So that just shows you that it doesn't have to be a super long video. You don't have to be you ain't got to have the greatest graphics. Because sometimes we obsess over that. We think that, oh, I gotta have this super graphic thumbnail. Sometimes that's not even the case. So just knowing your niche can help you because let's see, I wrote it down. Actually, talking about these 5 topics in which he just typed: finance, fitness, family, faith, and food. Those 5, if you touching any of those, a lot of those people they're gonna jump on it. And this guy, like he stated, he's talking about finances, but he doesn't even have thumbnails. So it just depends on your niche. And he also said, which I like too, is that um, you may not have to post every day. You may not have to post every week because sometimes that could be daunting, right? Maybe you're not able to do that. And I remember listening to a creator, I think his name is Walt, but he mentioned that he said you need to do what you can do. Maybe you're not able to post like Charleton, they post weekly, right? They got videos posted weekly and they've got up to that. So maybe you're not able to do that. Maybe you're only able to post once a month. Maybe you're only able to post twice a month. Maybe you can do once a week. So just do what you can do. And I like what Jeremy says about scheduling posts, which is, man, that's really a gem when you can schedule posts. And he mentioned bulk creating. If you got 2 hours, if you got 2 hours in your day, you can go ahead and pump out some videos. If you got kids, I've heard a guy say, when the house is loud, you need to be doing your video editing. When it's quiet, you got kids there, that's when you do your recording. So, just map it out, however you want to do. Getting organized, and of course, Jeremy talked about reposting some of your videos that people haven't seen. So those are awesome. Some great advice, and that's why I really appreciate them coming on and sharing this information because I'm even learning myself because some of this stuff I don't even know. So I appreciate them sharing all of this information. We had a few comments here when we were talking. Florence says it's all scripted when we were talking about the scripts. Yeah, we're all robots. Everything is scripted. Everything is scripted. Let's see. I thought I saw a question from Mr. Michael Flemings. He said, how do I clip? I think he's saying, how do I clip video editing? But I can create YouTube's thumbnails and YouTube shorts pre-recorded. You can, of course, pre-record your pre-record your videos, shorts. You can do that. Of course, you can use anything to create thumbnails. I think many of us have used Canva. Of course, now you got ChatGPT to do that. Charlton mentions OpenScript that can create your shorts for you. Take your long form content and create shorts for you. So there's many different platforms out there now that are allowing you to just upload. All you got to do is actually just put the link in there, and it'll just go ahead and spit out. I mean, depending on how long your video is, you can get like 20 shorts off of a 30-minute video. So it just depends. But you can use all of those to do that, Mr. Fleming. Let's see. Walter says, YouTube Ad Studio helps to give a creator feedback and clarity about what is working and not working about your channel. That is so true. Key. Analytics, of course, is key. Looking at your analytics, that is very key to see what's working, what's not working. Charlton mentioned Video IQ, which works along. It integrates with YouTube that can help give you feedback and different stats for your videos. So all of these things can help you to become a better creator and also help your workflow. All right, so let's keep going. All right. I think we just kind of touched on this. Creators staying consistent online. I don't know if anybody else want to chime in. If you want to add something to that, how do you stay consistent? How do I stay consistent as a creator? Because that's really tough sometimes.
Yeah, I'll start this one off. And definitely to echo what Jeremy said about batch creating. That's probably one of the best ways to help you not get burnout. So if you have your content prepared and you can record a couple of sessions and just get it off your plate, that is good. But the reality is that I don't think that there's any shortcuts to being consistent. You know, this is a discipline thing. It is a
Mhm.
marathon thing. Anybody that creates content will tell you there's probably more days that you don't feel like creating content than you do,
Yes.
but you still show up. I was watching actually a clip. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the comedian Kev on Stage.
Yes.
He's really popular on Instagram. And he actually has a short where he talks about this. He's like, I create like almost 3,000 videos a year. He said, I probably feel like making about 30 of those.
Whoa.
But he says like a majority of them, he's like, I don't feel like doing this, but he's like, I'm consistent because he's like, this is where I'm trying to grow. And I think that that's one of those things that you really have to, you just really have to dial it in. You know, hopefully you're doing something or talking about something that you're passionate about, you know, so it doesn't completely feel like work, you know. But I would encourage you, listen, this is one of those things that it has the potential to be a great blessing to your family. It's got a potential to do so many positive things for you and open up doors. um you know, and you don't even need, you know, a huge audience. You know, I know people that have
True.
less than 1,000 subscribers that have gotten, um, you know, huge contracts for work, you know, because the right person watched them, you know. I'll say this real quick and I'll yield the floor to Jeremy. One other thing I would say about staying consistent is celebrate your wins,
Mm.
you know, and no matter what they are, you know, if the wins are you got a certain number of views, or if you got a certain number of subscribers, or if you launched a digital product and you got a sale, like celebrate your wins. And you know, if other people don't celebrate, don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Because, and we'll have to talk about this on a whole nother podcast. You know, what's funny about content creation is that the people that you know best, like friends and family, are probably your lowest supporters. Most of your support is going to come from strangers. So it's like sometimes you have a quote unquote win and you want people to celebrate with you, but they may not be there to celebrate with you. Celebrate anyway, because that will help give you renewed, you know, energy to just keep showing up. You know, pat yourself on the back. And there's a saying that used to say when I was growing up, it says a sad dog that won't wag their own tail, you know. So so celebrate your wins, you know, keep an inventory and stay consistent.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good celebrate your wins, because sometimes, yeah, I just talked about that on another show, that sometimes those that are closest to you, they may not be the ones that do the like, that do the subscribe, and you just got to be okay with that. But celebrate your wins. Hey, I got 50 views this time, so hey, celebrate that. I got 10 views, or you know, or I was able to produce 3 videos this week. Celebrate that. You know, don't count everything as small. So, but like Charles said, this can be a blessing to you and your family. You know, you just never know where it'll take you. Mr. Reese.
I'm gonna kind of say some of those same things. Like you have to be um, able to celebrate the wins, and you have to have a mindset of not giving up and be passionate about what you do. So for me, I'm passionate about family. So
Mm.
you know, the family life, the married life, because the divorce rate is out of control, and especially, you know, coming from a Christian perspective, it's high in the church. So
True.
I have a heart for, you know, what I do. You know, we have the podcast portion that we lean into sometimes on different topics to kind of explore that territory, and then we have the comedy aspect because we want to kind of lighten some of the things that people may make serious in a marriage. You know, like some things ain't as serious as you make it, and it could be something that, you know, you all could just laugh about. And when we make that kind of content, you know, and see people's reaction, they're like, "Oh yeah, you made my day." You never know what people are going through, but you know, laughter is like medicine. So you have to be passionate in what you're doing. And I could kind of echo with Kev on stage because I follow him too. Like there are days where I'm just like, I have the ideas and I know what I want to do, but I just don't feel like it, you know. And that may be some of those times where, you know, it comes down to being organized. And you know, this is a day to repost. Um, you know, the last time I shared this video, it didn't get that many views. And what does that mean? That means a lot of people didn't see it. So this today, I don't feel like it. I'm going to just do a repost, and you never know. That may be the day that you get the reach and the engagement that you were looking for the first time. So just kind of hanging in there and, standing there even when, you may be kind of disappointed initially. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So you
Yes,
just
sir.
kind of pace yourself and, kind of hang in there to stay consistent. But planning for me and organization is definitely key. Our stuff is a little different. We don't, when it comes to the uh, comical content, we don't really script a lot of that. We just improv. And,
Naturals.
so a lot of
They are
people may,
naturals.
yeah. And, when I kind of came up with some scripts, my wife, she kind of shot me down like, I'm just natural. So, I said, hey, if that's what flows for you, we just improv it, and that's what works for us. So just being like passionate about what you do will lead to consistency for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Well said. Well said. I agree with all of that. Great tips that you all are sharing. All right. Some we're gonna I don't want to keep these gentlemen too long, but we're gonna Karen get ready to close this up. But I want to talk about some snags and mistakes, beginner mistakes and things like that. That maybe could trip people up. Maybe y'all want to share out there for some of these creators. I think you kind of
Yeah,
touched on it.
no, yeah, we have, wow. Um, the reality is that you're gonna make a mistake with every single upload. you you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, oh, I messed that up, and the reality is that you're forever going to be tweaking your workflow and tweaking how you do things, and that's good. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's good, and that's why, honestly, when people tell me that they want to go into content creation, I tell them get to 100 videos as soon as possible,
Mm.
because it's not just about establishing your presence, but it's about getting reps in to know, first of all, know yourself as a content creator, know your workflow process, and just learning. Um, and just learning how to create content. Um, I would say this, one of the mistakes that I felt like I made when I first started doing content is that you know I would compare myself to other people, and comparison is a killer.
Mm-hmm.
I know we say that a lot in theory, but the reality is that you don't have to do what other people are doing in order to find success in this. I wish I could talk about that in more
That's a
detail,
whole
but I'm trying to be.
episode. That's a whole episode.
Yeah,
Comparison.
yeah, yeah. I mean, because we talked about niche, and we talked about um, knowing your audience, and the pace and the type of content. If you're somebody who does shorts, you don't compare yourself to long format, and long format don't compare yourself to shorts. You know, and we all know about monetization, and we could talk about that another time too. It probably takes about 100,000 shorts to do the same thing that 1,000 long format
Mm.
views could do. So don't look at somebody that has a whole bunch of views on shorts and be like, "Oh man, I only got 1,000 views. I'm not doing anything." Yes, you are, because those shorts are 60 seconds. You know, so like don't compare yourself to other people. Just enjoy your process and just keep growing, man.
Wow. Well said, man. Well said. Mr. Reese, beginner
I
mistakes
will say,
or what can the people what can they do? I love that what Charles said. I think that is man, that's a whole episode. Comparison. I mean, that's a killer. I mean, that'll kill your drive for sure.
Jonathan McReynolds Sunday.
Yeah. That will kill your creative drive. But okay, I won't jump on that. But go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm gonna just say, don't be afraid to experiment, because when you first start out, sometimes you might not really know what you want to do. You may kind of test the waters, like, okay, I might want to see this, and then sometimes you can grab onto what works. So you may make some a certain videos to kind of test the water. Okay, I think I want to do this, so let me try to see how this works. Experiment with different things until you find what works for you. Um, when you're going into editing, that's a whole learning process. You're going to make mistakes with editing. Your font might be too big one time, or you might notice it's too little and they can't read, or the colors on the font may not be right and people can't read it. Like when you first start off, you have to allow yourself grace for mistakes. And if you go back and look at our videos at the beginning and compare them to now, that was learned over time until we kind of refined it into what we want it to look like. You look at the beginning, you were like, whoa, that's kind of like, I don't know what was going on with that one. And then you compare it to now, it's because I had to learn how do I use this editing app. And for me, I switch between CapCut for shorts, and I switch between Instagram edits depending on what I'm doing. So you're gonna make mistakes, but just keep learning, researching, and you're gonna be able to fine tune how you edit your videos. And one of the mistakes I did make too, which has kind of been talked about, it kind of weighed on me for a while. I think Charleton may have mentioned it, is I made a mistake of looking for support from close people. Like, and I let that kind of dictate my mindset. Okay, I expect these people to support. And so they kind of dictated my mood, like, do I really want to do this, because I'm not getting the support from the people that I thought I would. So I would say don't make the mistake of always looking for that support from those people you think. It's the random and the strangers and people you don't even know. I built genuine connections with people I've never met in my life, and those are my biggest supporters. So I would say don't let that kind of deter you and get you to the point where you want to give up. Eventually, over time, you'll reach the right audience.
Man, that's a
That's
whole
good.
yeah, it is. That's real good. That's a whole episode. Thinking you're gonna get support from those who know you best, right? Or who are, closest to you and know you. Okay, I keep getting messages that my volume is low. Is my volume better? Can y'all hear me okay out there? Let me know in the chat if y'all can hear me okay. I'm trying to get close. I think if I'm when I move back, I think that's when it gets low. But that was awesome. Thank you, Walter, and thank you to my wife, my producer. She's still back there saying your volume is low again. Your volume is low. So, but those are some excellent points for beginners, of course. Comparison and just making the mistake of thinking, those who's closest to you. Those are probably some of the big ones that are out there for beginners. You just got to keep trying to be consistent. And I think what Jeremy said is very key. Getting organized and just trying to, if you can put out more, do the bulk creation and scheduling. I mean, they gave out so many great tips tonight. I mean, I don't know. I can't go back over everything. I can't, but there's some great information that's been shared on tonight. I don't know if I missed anything, but I guess I'm just going to, before we close this out, I want to, I guess, give them space. And I'm going to share their channels, of course, because I want y'all to make sure you're following them, because they do put out some great content. And they are some amazing creators as well. So I want you all to make sure you're following them and just support them, because it's definitely well worth it. But I want to give them, man, just space to have some final words and maybe even talk about their channels that they have. So we'll start with Charleton. You can go ahead and maybe just have your final words, sir, and maybe talk about your channel and just the stuff you create.
Well, first off, Brian, I want to thank you for having us on your platform, man. You are always so gracious and so giving of your platform and your effort, and you making that high glossy thumbnail, making us look good when we don't even look that good. We appreciate you, man. Appreciate you and your wife, man. And I have to give you your flowers, man. You have such a resilient spirit when it comes to content creation, and I admire everything you do. I feel like people sleep on you, just between you and me as brothers. I feel like people sleep on you.
Who's out there sleeping on me?
And because Brian is the real content creator. All I do is I just make videos. Brian, he wrote a book. that
Yeah.
sells on Amazon. This guy makes downloads that you can order. He has templates to teach you how to become more confident. He has sign up programs for different events and stuff like that. Like you do all the peripheral stuff that takes. A lot of people don't know Brian at one point in time was having guests sign contracts,
Yeah.
and because
Absolutely.
we didn't even talk about the legality,
Mm.
of content creation. And he has a whole forum that you electronically sign so that when you go on his podcast, uh, you don't get to claim any of the money. And I'm just playing. I'm teasing.
That's it.
No, but it's all that stuff is so admirable. That stuff really motivates me, and I gotta say that to you as a fellow content creator, as a brother. Like, dude, you're inspiring, man. So don't stop doing what you're doing, man. I feel like, dude, you are one good post away from blowing up and getting the recognition that you deserve, man. So definitely want to thank you for having us on here. And I would be remiss. Shout out to my boy Jeremy, bro. I appreciate, I always love chopping it up with you, man. Y'all keep doing what you're doing. You and your wife are hilarious. You guys are naturally funny. Y'all don't need scripts. I need
For
a
real.
script. Y'all are good. But yeah, appreciate you. And I would be remiss if I didn't give just a tremendous debt of gratitude to my wife. I'm you want to talk about staying consistent and staying motivated. Having your spouse in your corner is huge. I think one thing that all three of us can say is that we create content with our family, which is special, because I never feel like I'm taking away from us as a family by doing this. We do it together, and that's just blessed. I can't even put into words what that means to me. So big shout out to my wife. I love you so much, and let's keep growing.
Yes, and this is his channel, of course, Just Teach Ministries. For those who don't know, Just Teach Ministries, and I do have their links in this description of the video. So be sure y'all go and follow him. And you know, the feelings is mutual about him too. Both of them, I appreciate both of them. They have always supported me, and so I just wanted to bring them in this and have this conversation with them, because, like I said, I don't know everything, but I learned from them. So I appreciate them being here. But I want to go ahead and jump to Mr. Reese.
Yeah, I also wanted to appreciate you for having me on. You had me on a few times,
Yes.
whether it was
Yes.
content creation or music. You had me and Jamal on one time, so definitely appreciate you lending your platform and collaborating. That's the thing. People have to lean more into collaboration. You know, I myself I'm looking to collaborate with more Christian content creators that kind of do what we do. We haven't really found that connection yet, but we're definitely looking at collaboration. So definitely appreciate you for having me on. And like you said, you're very good at what you do. So you may say I got this thing together, but I reached out to you about stuff. So I feel like I'm the young Jedi and you're the master Jedi. So I'm just, what I'm saying, getting tips from you. So I definitely appreciate that and how supportive you are, um, in everything that we do. So I definitely want to say that. Um, Definitely want to thank my wife too, because without her, it wouldn't be no Jeremy and Deviant. It would be Jeremy, and I don't know how that would go. So, so she definitely, makes helps make our content better. So I appreciate her. I know when I approached her with the idea for this, I'm thinking, hey, what can we do to kind of help marriages and people that are dealing with family things, and kind of give two aspects on it. Give the real side with the podcast, and then give the everyday life situation with the comical stuff. And so I appreciate her for accepting and being willing um, to go with the flow with that, because that was something I kind of brought up. So yeah, just continue to lean heavily on the collaborations. That's what I seek to do, and I feel like this was definitely a good collaboration, and hopefully we can do
For
this
sure.
more.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, man. Appreciate you. as well, Jeremy. You and Devion. Thank y'all. But like Charleton said, y'all are naturals at it. Of course, I don't know how y'all do it, but man, y'all come up with some stuff that's like, what in the world? How did they do that? But this is his channel, the Jeremy and Devion show. And I know Jeremy has another channel too. If y'all didn't know, he sings. He sings. He created a whole album. He has a whole album he's produced. So you got to go check it out as well. Great songs on there. But this is their channel. Him and his wife, they talk about, like he said, they talk about marriage things, and they do little skits, funny things. They talk about serious topics as well. But they have a great channel too. So make sure y'all go out there and follow them as well. So I appreciate you, Jeremy, being here. Charleton as well. Got to say my friend here, Mr. Roker, showed up. Appreciate you being here, sir. Thank you.
Prophet.
Yeah, that's another creator right there. I've had him on. He's wrote, I think he got 2 books now. I think he may be working on his 3rd. We got to get this guy in here too. But another great creator. I appreciate him. He always supports as well. But we'll talk, Mr. Roker. And let's see what Mr. Walter says. His biggest super fan over family and friends has always been Miss Florence Donnelly. Oh, yeah, Miss Florence. Yeah, she was in the comments earlier. Miss Florence. She's a great creator, too. I'm going to have to get her on as a guest, too. But she's great, too. She does a lot of great things as well. But, man, this has been amazing. This has been great. This has been a great conversation. And we definitely going to get back at this. Right now, I would say that, we kind of doing this. We're gonna try to do this monthly. Who knows where it's gonna go from there? It could go to weekly. We don't know, but we're gonna try to do this monthly where we come back, and also we're gonna bring in other creators, because there are other creators out there who know things we don't know. So this is just a conversation to not only talk about the different things, the different technologies and how we can be better, but also to encourage other creators. I think, like Jeremy said, he hit it on the head: collaboration. That's probably one of the biggest things that can help you when you're not feeling motivated. Get with somebody else that can help, maybe, help you. But collaboration is key, of course. And, of course, we just wanted to have this conversation to encourage others and also to learn from them. Like I said, I learned so much tonight, so I'm appreciative of it. I got to go back and watch it so that I can get some of these notes, some of these gems. But I want to thank all of those who were able to show up tonight in the comments. I want to thank my wife as well, who helps me. Like Charleton says, I couldn't do this without support of my wife. I mean, I echo that wholeheartedly. I mean, my wife, she's probably my biggest fan. If anybody gonna be in the comments, if it's only 1 people on the live stream, she gonna be in there. But that's the way it should be, right? We should get support from our spouses. But she helps me, of course, and she can tell me what's going on, what's not going on. Of course, she told me my volume wasn't right, so she came up and helped me with that. But I appreciate her. She definitely is a help. She's a creator herself too, makes candles, and she's in real estate. She does a whole lot of things. We'll have her back out here too, to get out of some of that shyness, but we're going to get her back too. But man, I want to say Charleton and Jeremy, thank y'all for being here, sir. We're going to do it again.
And before we go, let me also, I forgot to call out my boy Charleton. I was like, I didn't even say nothing, but definitely support you, man. Like, they're like one of the greatest teachers I've seen in a while. Like the way you break that stuff down and give you an understanding, like that's needed. So I definitely support your gift that you have, and expounding on the Word of God. So much love in what you do.
That's fact.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for that.
Yeah. No, you want to talk about somebody that can break the Word down and just give you some gems. I'm telling you, you got to go listen to Just Teach Ministry. I mean, if you're into Sunday school and you need notes, I mean, they even provide notes for you and all of those good things for the Sunday school lesson to help you even be prepared to be even better teacher. I mean, you can use some of the notes, but no, he's an excellent, awesome teacher. We talk about him all the time too, Jeremy. You're not the only one. We talk about him all the time, but he's a phenomenal teacher. But he likes what he does, right? It's not just a show. It's really that's in him. He's a teacher. Yeah. He's a minister. He does this. This is what he does. He wants to expound and help others in the kingdom. So, I mean, kudos. Hats off to you, brother. Appreciate you. So thanks again to everybody. Like I said, we'll be back again next month, of course, and we'll have more stuff to talk about. I want to say appreciate everybody who was able to join us, and those that will come back and watch it. We appreciate y'all. Hey, we'll see you all in these internet streets in the next video. God bless, and we'll see you all on the next one.